We'll get started. So in case you don't know who I am, just a really quick introduction. My name is Tiffany Crisara. I am an inner transformation specialist, a courage catalyst, an author, and the BO. That sounds bad. Boho CEO of the Transformational Truth of Tarot. And I have actually been spending the whole of 2020 getting together a system for you, boiling it right down, because I've worked with intuitives since full-time since 2003, and I noticed that they had some very similar patterns going on. And so I've managed to boil it down for you now into this Activate Your Intuition system. And it's a little bit controversial. It's not really intuition in the way that you might be thinking of the word intuition. And if you haven't caught any yet, then this live will recap on what that is. And also we're going to go into why you as an intuitive maybe struggle more than most with overwhelm. And what to do about it. Okay, so let's, with no further ado, crack on. And I've got the screen share up, so I just need to do this, hopefully. Bing! And you should see another slide here. Awesome. So welcome to the official launch. This is Masterclass 2. And there'll be another one on Saturday, and then I'll officially open cart for those of you that decide, yes, you absolutely, really, really do want this, need this, it makes total sense. But for now, all you have to do is just see what I've got to give you and how that changes your life this week. Okay, so you voted for number 5 of these 10 symptoms. So just an overview of the 10 symptoms of using your intuition as outtuition, and what that means briefly is that as a child, the intuitive is so used to using their intuition to tune out of themselves and into their caregiver. So it goes right back to childhood, if not beyond, depending on whether you believe in past lives and things along those lines. We can be really hardwired that way for absolutely eons, but just taking this life into account right now, what happens is, some point in childhood, the child recognizes that their caregivers' wants and needs are more important than their own. And so they use their intuition to tune out of their own needs and wants and into that of the caregivers, okay? Which is a very smart thing to do as a child when you're dependent on your caregiver being able to look after you, right? Okay. But as you grow up as an adult, all those things you've learned, not only learned, but embedded into who you are, they actually do the opposite. So as a child, they were protecting your relationships, protecting your ability to survive. But as an adult, it actually is the opposite. It erodes your relationships and your ability to survive. So this is what I mean when I'm talking about intuition. I'm not talking about let's tune in to what's going on in somebody else's energy, or what's going on in what's going to happen in your world, or anything along those lines. That is outtuition. That is using your intuition as outtuition, tuning out of yourself and into someone else. When I'm talking about activating your intuition, I'm talking about being able to tune in to you, to what you want, to what you need, and make your life flow from there, because it won't if you don't. Okay, so these are the common 10 symptoms that I was talking about when I said I'd noticed that there was a lot of patterns between intuitives. Number 1 is over emotional misunderstandings, and it's always good to rate yourself. So if you're there with me now, or on the replay, just get a pen and paper or make a mental note, or even put it in the chat box. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being maximum problem, where are you with each one of these? So give yourself a number for over emotional misunderstandings. 10 being, oh, yes, my life is full of those, can't get any worse. Yeah. Number 2, feeling like everything is personal. And sometimes we don't even realize we're doing that because we've personalized it so much we think it's our stuff, right? If you want examples of that, let me know at the end in the Q&A, because I really want to stay on track here so that we get through this a lot quicker than we did in Masterclass 1, which was 50 minutes. I'm going to try and do this in half an hour. Okay. Number 3, making assumptions that cause drama. Right, so that happens a lot as intuitives, because you get very into, I'm intuitive, so don't fob me off, right? Any of you recognize that? Number 4, struggle to know your own reality. Where is that on the scale of 1 to 10? Because you know what, if you're making assumptions and you're taking things personally, then you're taking a lot of other people's stuff on board. So your ability to know your own reality can be somewhat compromised, shall we say. So where's your number on that one? And today what we're looking at in particular is the over-trying, overdoing and overwhelm piece. Okay, we're going to dive into that very soon. Number 6 is not knowing or mixing up your needs and wants. Currently that is, and maybe the 3rd in the voting poll. There's a poll up in the group. You can vote for what symptom you want your final class on Saturday to be on. And so we can rewire and dissolve and realign you on that front on Saturday. I think the very next one that people are voting for, so this is the most likely one at the moment for Saturday, is can't express yourself until it's too late. But that really goes hand in hand with not knowing or mixing up your needs and your wants. Then there's bouncing from no boundaries to big barriers. Obviously, that's a part of being overwhelmed. So we will do a little bit of boundary stuff going on in this one today. Feeling like you don't belong anywhere. And then the struggle to obtain healthy self-esteem, which goes through all of them. And again, has something to do with overtrying, overdoing and overwhelm. So we will look at that a little bit today as well. No further ado, let's crack on. Just to boil it down, the 3 things that you're going to learn today is why, as an intuitive, you struggle with overwhelm, what you need to change your practice or your focus to on a daily basis, and a daily practice to make sure that you start doing. So don't go into overwhelm with this. It's really simple what I'm going to be showing you. Okay, so it's going to speed you up efficiently rather than overwhelm you and get you more into a mess like this poor little cat's reaction. I couldn't resist it. And of course, I said if you joined me live today and you answered this question correctly at the end, so wait for the slide to come up again at the end, the first person to answer correctly why, if you are intuitive, you don't listen to it. If you know the answer to that, then pop it in the chat box when you see this slide come up for the 2nd time. I have hinted on it in class 1, and I'm going to reiterate it again during this class as well. It's not obvious, but it's in there, so you'll have to think for yourself. And then when you see that slide come up, and put it in the chat box what you feel the answer is, because the first one to do so is I've decided to give away another book. So we had Mandy win The Transformational Truth of You yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember now. It's all so fast. You can still win The Transformational Truth of You, or The Transformational Truth of Tarot, or my workbook on this subject, or my autobiography on this subject as well. It's totally your choice if you're the first one to put the correct answer in when you see the slide come up. But let's crack on. We're going to do 2 in 1, and then we've only got 1 more to do. So the first 2 that we're going to look at is why you as an intuitive struggle with overwhelm and what you need to change your focus to instead. Okay, and then we're going to look at a daily practice to help you with this. Okay, so what you've got here is what happens to you as an intuitive or creative being, okay? First of all, a lot of intuitives do lack a clearly defined purpose for a lot of reasons. And I'm there with you. So I'm not here kind of like going, meh, 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 meh. Well, you might be like, Tiff, you've got a really clearly defined purpose. Actually, that's true. On the bigger picture, I really do know what I want and where I want to be going with things. But, sometimes on a day-to-day level, I'm so creative and intuitive. It feels like I really need to anchor my ship in a storm to be able to stay with that guiding North Star. And that is what your clearly defined purpose is. It is your guiding North Star. So you need a bigger picture. You need, when I say a bigger picture, this could be a purpose for the year. You could be like a purpose for the day, a purpose for the week, a purpose for the month, a purpose for a quarter, a purpose for 6 months, a purpose for a year, a purpose for 5 years, a purpose for 10 years. I don't want to overwhelm you. So we're not going to go into all of that. And we're just going to look for one clearly defined purpose. I want to know, do you have a clearly defined purpose? If you do, put it in the chat box. Okay. If you don't, do look out for a chance to speak to me, because I've never been on a one-to-one with anyone who started the call saying, I don't know what I want, and ended the call still saying, I don't know what I want. It's honestly, hands up, never happened to me. And I've done tens of thousands of one-to-ones. I don't often do them these days, but every now and then you may find one pop up. So if you have a problem knowing what you want, do take me up when you do see that chance. Okay, so you want to be knowing what you are aiming for, right? And it's so hard as an intuitive, because you are also creative. You'll channel so much through, and you'll be taking on other people's stuff, and so you can really go this way and that way. It's a bit like whiz bits, haha, this way, haha, that way. I don't know if you know whiz bits, so I'll move on. And then that's symptom number 6. So I'm going to say brownie points if anybody remembers what symptom number 6 is. I will tell you after I've gone through all of these. Symptom number 8 is behind saying yes to everything and anything. So what do you think that symptom is? Yes, and those people that don't suffer so much from overwhelm know how to say yes to what's in alignment with their clearly defined picture. That is why that is so important. Yes, because if you don't have that, then you won't know what to say yes and what to say no to. So then you can have, like they say, nature abhors a vacuum, right? So no boundaries and an inability to say no. Again, if you've got a clearly defined purpose, you'll know what steps take you there. And then you'll know what actions take you there, and you'll be able to see what requests don't take you there. And then there's that piece on being able to communicate. Yeah. So first of all, you want the picture. Second of all, you want the ability to be able to say no to that takes you off course. And we're going to look a little bit at that with your next slide or two. Another thing I found with intuitives is that there's an almost fatal fear of failure. And it's quite intense. And so we have to do a lot of work on knowing that failure is inevitable on the pathway to success, and it's valuable. You're not going to get there without it. And this happens because self-esteem is kind of broken. Okay, so let's go back to what I was saying as the intuitive child, where they tune into their caregiver's needs. And then they get praise for being the good person. Sometimes I was way more rebellious, so I didn't really go that way inclined as such. But generally speaking, what happens is the self-esteem switch is off. Let's call it a switch, and it's off, right? And what the intuitive that's using their intuition as outtuition is doing is trying to get esteem from another person. So it's called other esteem, okay? And so that is why failure then feels so fatal, because there is the self-esteem switch is switched off. It's all coming from other, an outside source. And so then if you fail, it's like, that's it, my survivability, my identity, it can really feel that strong. And so that is a big, big, big glaring piece to work on in order for you to be okay and not get stuck in this place of over trying, overdoing, and overwhelm, because it's like you're just trying to get other esteem all the time. And it will just never be good enough, because you'll try to protect it through perfectionism. And so that can be really tough. It's like you're always going to be hiding in another thing that you can create, another website, another course. It's not good enough yet. I'm not good enough yet. Yeah. And before you know it, you failed, which is that fear anyway, before you've even began, right? And so, you know, the person that can get okay, can release themselves from overwhelm, knows that version 1 is better than version none, okay? Because they don't worry about people picking holes in it, because they've got their self-esteem. Self-esteem is inherent. It's your worth. It's not dependent on what happens out there or what anybody else says, right? Okay, and symptom 10, we've just spoken about a bit, hiding in doing everything but that one thing that you know is really going to shift you. Whereas those that are ready to make movement going forward, make sure there's 1% progress a day on things. Okay, so symptom 6, just so you know, is not knowing what you need or want. Symptom 8 is boundaries, and symptom 10 is self-esteem. Okay, so those symptoms all feed in to symptom 5, which is overtrying, overdoing, and overwhelm. And hopefully you can see now why, as an intuitive, you may be really struggling with overtrying, overdoing, and overwhelm. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have on that at the end of the class. So we're just going to move on to the last piece now, which is how to get daily practice going on to make sure that you actually stay here, your ticket to your dreams, rather than fall into buying a ticket to overwhelm land, right? Okay, so step 1 is to do your daily needs and wants journal. Now, if you've signed up for the launch, that will have gone into your inbox yesterday. It's not too late. You will still get it. After each class, I send out the replays and the sheets that you need. So it's not too late. I'll have the link for you if you haven't signed up yet. Okay. Do your tarot feely. Again, that was yesterday's or the day before class. And again, you can still get the sheets. It's absolutely fine. You're not too late. And also, don't lose sight of the bigger, longer term picture. That's the thing that happens. It's like, oh, I can't have this, or the permission goes to have it. And then you get caught up in the dynamics and the drama of daily life. So it's really important to fire up that bigger vision and stay really clear with it, which is why I've put that eye there, and I've put the tarot there for your tarot feely. And of course, your sheets is the tarot feely and your daily needs and wants list. Okay, so just gonna give you another case study. So last class, we spoke about Sylvie, who couldn't actually move forward after dissolving her marriage because her husband was not willing to sell the house. It was a way of keeping her there. And after doing the Activate Your Intuition system, which is only 10 days, within that time, she went from completely blocked to house in the market, viewer, cash buyer, sold, and an amicable relationship with her ex-husband. Pretty impressive for 10 days, right? And I use that one because Activate Your Intuition system is all about your ability to receive, right? It's all about realigning you to the ability to receive. And we're talking a little bit more on this one, today's class, about self-esteem. So I wanted to just show you Sue here. So Sue has invested in her spiritual development for years. And she's been a client of mine for years as well, actually, back in Mysteries in London when I was doing readings day in, day out. Oh, God, crazy amount of readings. So that would have been back in 2006 or 7. And then I went to the Mind, Body, Spirit in London to do my Game Changer, which is behind me on the shelf. And I saw her, I met her, that was last year, and we reconnected. And I'm so pleased we did, because I could see how much I had shifted and grown from being a reader that was just actually keeping someone perpetually and using their intuition as outtuition, to actually now having the understanding and the tools to really get to what was going on and be able to actually shift it. And that's exactly what Sue's done. She's had the most amazing year, because she's been in TTT as well, Transformational Truth of Tarot, which is 6 months to a year long program. It's my high ticket community program, and it is the bomb, even if I do say so myself. It's absolutely fantastic. And the Activate Your Intuition is almost like I've boiled down the best parts that I can give to you in the shortest amount of time, for you to see why it's so transformative. So Sue also did Activate Your Intuition, and she has just gone from someone whose self-esteem was not there and didn't have boundaries, and got really upset because she didn't know her needs or her wants, and then she wouldn't be able to communicate them, and then she'd get upset for other people for not knowing. And that has completely turned around for her. It's done a 360 this year, and she says that the Activate Your Intuition was the absolute icing on the cake, and everyone is saying that she is a completely different person, and the support is coming to her now because of that, because she's resonating at a completely different place. So this is possible in 10 days, even though Sue is part of my higher ticket community. That there is the community. If you want to have a community and a long-term practice, spiritual practice that keeps transforming your life, that's TTT. But if you're like, actually, Tiff, I just want to see what you can do for me in 10 days, then you want Activate Your Intuition. Okay, all right. So let's go back to your spiritual practice. So this is what I was saying that you need to do every day. Anchor in that vision of what's your long-term focus, so you know what to say yes and no to. Do your tarot feely. If you don't know what I'm on about, catch the replay of class 1, and do your daily needs and wants journal also in class 1, and will be sent through to you if you have signed up for the launch. Okay, so when someone asks you something, remember to ask yourself, what would self-worth do? So, I said that your self-worth switch is off, usually, as an intuitive. Yes, because you've been using your intuition as outtuition. So you've been tuning into everybody else's needs and wants and not your own. So your self-esteem switch is off, and you're getting self-esteem where it's not self-esteem, other esteem. That's what you're tuning into getting. So Contrary to popular belief, self-esteem isn't something that you need to work at. It's not a spectrum, and it's not something you need to be in therapy or counseling for decades to get. It's an in-the-moment thing. And the thing that can switch your self-esteem on is this very one question. When someone asks you something, just think to yourself, what would self-worth do? Okay? And that's not even when somebody would ask you something. That's like any decision you have to make. Ask yourself, what would self-worth do right now? And you'll have your answer. But if you're struggling a little bit, you can always ask yourself, would doing this take me towards my bigger picture? Again, bigger picture, you're getting to see how important that is, right? And I guess a lot of you are like, I don't know what that is. And as I said, you can ask me either here in the live or in the Facebook group. Ask me this week. I'm here for you. Ask me, all right, how you can help yourself get clear with that bigger picture. So you ask yourself, does this take me towards my bigger picture or away? And that also will help you stay aligned. Okay. We said we were going to do a little bit on boundaries. So here it is. This is how you do your boundaries. Okay. You state what you need clearly in a way that shows you're giving it to yourself. So it may well be, right now, for me, my priority is this. Once I have done that, see, okay. Holding yourself back whenever you feel the need to explain or justify, oh, I can't do it because I've got to do this, giving your power away totally. Don't do that. If you think you could do it, then, or you even want to do it, it's always good to provide choices and consequences just to make sure that you're not going into a weird, unequal dynamic. The responsibility always has to stay with the person that's asking. So it could be like with your boss, for instance, it could be, yes, I can absolutely do that. It means that what you wanted won't be finished this week. So which one would you like? Yes? Okay. And own what you say respectfully with I statements. I think we've spoken about that. Like, I can do that. I am doing this. So it's not like, oh, you always need this and I have to do that. None of that. So these are the ways that you communicate. All right, I'm just giving you a very quick start on how to do that. Okay, so step 4 is always do your gentle best. I love this step. Love, love, love this step. So this is from Agreement 4 of Don Miguel's 4 agreements, which I absolutely love. If you're a client of mine, you'll know that because I don't work with anyone that won't practice this with me, and it changes their life and it ripples on out like that. It's fantastic. But I put the word gentle in agreement number 4 because I saw how much intuitives were trying too hard. Okay. So I want to emphasize the word gentle in always do your best. It's got to be, for the intuitive, it's got to be always do your gentle best. Just by adding that one word, it's amazing how much it dissolves perfectionism, procrastination, and fear of failure. And it's been my mantra for the past 6 weeks. I've had a rocky 6 weeks. I've had I had my granddad go into acute kidney failure really suddenly. At the same time, my mum had a cancer diagnosis. I had to become living carer for granddad and then for mum. And on the week that we also had granddad's funeral. And, you know, I got a business to run, right? So it was thanks to this word gentle and to my ability to ask and build a great team. You know, my PA had my back, my support staff had my back, and they had my back because I'd learned how to ask for what I need. And it was I'm just so grateful that they were there at that time. Also, my clients, you know, they are the clients in TTT are so understanding and supportive of each other because they've been trained to be so with all of this work that we have been doing. So it was strong, and I could use the mantra to do my gentle best. And when my clients were a little worried about me, that's all I had to say. I had to say, it's okay. I've got this. I'm doing my gentle best. And they got me completely. And I became like the model to do the gentle best. I became like, okay, this is me stepping in to doing my gentle best and helping them to see that they could also do their gentle best. And an amazing thing happened. The amount of overwhelm, over-trying and overdoing that was still an undercurrent in TTT just went. And before then, I might have been a little bit fearful. I might have been a bit like, oh, if it goes quiet, then, you know, this isn't going very well. And it was the opposite. It was totally the opposite. And it's just been a huge, amazing clearing, all because of this one word, gentle, right? So use that as your mantra to do your gentle best. It kept me sane. It kept everything so on track for me the last 6 weeks. I don't know what I would have done without it. Absolutely. And finally, I want you to throw out your to-do list and bring in your to-da list. And you'll only know what that is if you sign up for the launch, but it's absolutely amazing. It's really quick, it's really easy, and it will turn anxiety into confidence. Trust me, really easily, really quickly, and really instantly. If you want to know what that is, you do have to sign up for the launch, which is on this link here. Okay, activateyourintuitionsystem.com/launch. Do that and you'll get the replay and all the sheets you need sent to your inbox. Okay, so that's it until Saturday for now, although we're going to announce the winner. And if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat box. I know that the second symptom is not being able to ask for what you need until it's too late. So do practice asking for what you need now, because we're going to end this in a couple of minutes, if not. Okay. So you're going to have another class, one last class on Saturday. So you've got one last chance to vote for the symptom that you really want help with. Okay. And that's over in the Inner Transformation Facebook group. So do check out that poll and vote on it. At the moment, as I said, it's looking like the winner, the leading one for Saturday, is not being able to ask until it's too late. But if you were there and you're like, no, actually, I really need some help with self-esteem or boundaries, get your vote on. Okay. All right. Now, who's going to win a book? Anyone? Tell me this, Tiff. If I'm so intuitive, then why don't I listen to it? This now is time for you to put the answer in the chat box to win a book. And the first one to answer it correctly gets to win a book of their choice. So do you know it? What is the answer to if you're intuitive, then why don't you listen? Put it in the chat box, peeps. It's your chance to win a book. And this is what I screenshot from a survey. It really struck me because I think this is the absolute key. Well done, Christina. You have won a book. It is indeed Self-Esteem, A1, Gold Star student. Yes. If you're there and you're thinking, is this my intuition? Or what is my intuition telling me? You're actually asking the wrong question. And the right question is, what would self-worth do? Yes? Christina says she was listening to lesson 1. Yes, you were. And Kate says, is it because of spending too much energy tuning into others? Yes, 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 absolutely. Yes. So I'll tell you a very quick story about when I was on a dance floor, and I was barefoot, and there was this big guy and he was bounding all over the place. And I remember thinking, oh, I think he might just land on my foot in a minute. And then I went into, oh, is that me manifesting it? Is it a fear? Is it an intuition? And bang, he landed on my foot. Whereas if I'd have just said, okay, I think he's going to land on my foot in a minute, what would self-worth have done? Would have got out the way, right? Wouldn't have spent time going, oh, is that my intuition? Am I manifesting it, or is it a fear? So there you go. If you're like, is it my intuition? Why aren't I listening to it? You're not asking the right question. The right question is, what would self-esteem do? So that's how you listen to it. Yay! Well done, Christina. Congratulations. So Christina, what book do you want? Do let me know. Do you want The Transformational Truth of Tarot? Do you want The Transformational Truth of You? Do you want the ebook of the 10 symptoms of using your intuition as outtuition, or the autobiography? If you don't know now, you can always message me. You'll need to message me your address anyway. Okay, so that's it. I don't think we've got any questions. No questions, peeps. Is that it for today? That's either a very good thing or a very bad thing. I'm not quite sure which one it is. But you can always ask in the group. Yes, particularly this week, and particularly as the leading class for Saturday seems to be on, what was it? Not being able to ask until it's too late. So I really want to leave you with this task, is to really catch yourself thinking, what is it I need right now? And whenever you have that during the day, just pop it in the group, okay? And I'll help you with it. Please send me the one that you intuitively think is the right one. Got it. I will do. All right. Much love to you all, and see you then. Bye for now. Go and vote for your class. Go and vote for your symptom. Do it now.